Hi, everybody. Well, the green salad, I'll talk about that real quickly right now. And I didn't want to do it tonight because it does take a minute, but which is why I do it once a week because it takes a lot of effort to make the salad. So I don't want to do it every night. But I usually I used a That's a bowl when our girls were at home. Now it's a little smaller containers. Sometimes I'll use either a smaller That's a bowl or an Impressions bowl, but there's a little secret to it. And when people are always complaining, oh gosh, my salad gets it gets rusty, or it doesn't last long. It gets gooey. I tell them, okay, the secret is that you put all of your lettuce on the bottom. So now I clean my lettuce. I chop it and then I spin it in my salad spinner so I know it's really good and dry. Then I put that's my bottom layer. And then I use carrots. And usually I grate my carrots. If we're doing it for a big one, Carey gets out our grate master and we grate a whole bunch of them to put it all on the top, especially if we're using a big That's a bowl. And so we put all of the carrots on the top, and that kind of ends up being our insulating barrier. And then from there, you can put everything else that you would want to put on. We usually add a red pepper. You can add cucumbers, you can add olives, you can, whatever it is that your family likes, including tomatoes and any seeds or anything. And so they're all laying on the top. Now, the key is as you go through the week, instead of mixing the salad up and putting it in everybody's bowl, you just reach in or use your tongs, take out just enough salad for each person's bowl one at a time. And believe it or not, you will get enough of the toppings every time you reach for the greens below it. You will get enough so that it works well in your bowl. And then do not, and I tell my girls all the time, I would say, don't shake this salad on the way back to the refrigerator because you want to leave it intact. You want to make sure that all of the toppings stay on the top, because as we all know from using our fridge smarts, that when they're wet, that's what starts the deterioration process. So if your lettuce can stay nice and dry on the top and the wet things can stay isolated on the top, your salad, my salad always will last a week, maybe 10 days, a long time I get out of my salad. So that's my salad and that's my salad tip. But tonight I'm going to make Carey's famous tuna salad. And he puts a myriad of things in it, but I'm going to show you the basic one. And I have to use my fave here. As you all know, this is one of my favorite products is the Power Chef. Let me put it down here since it's the star of the show and not me. So, and hopefully you're all familiar with the Power Chef and how it works, and that it has a motor on the top that easily detaches for cleaning, has a great little button here on the side that you can push so that you can detach this whole top piece that contains the motor housing. And so this part can actually go in the dishwasher if you want it to, just not the part with that houses your spring and your motor. So this all comes apart and then snaps together easily. So you have a ring that goes around it, and the ring now is what will house your little motor, and inside is the blade. Also, it comes with a paddle that you can use for making salad dressing or pancake mix or whatever you want to fluff up and mix together. But this is the blade that I use 90% of the time, and that is the chopping blade. So in order to make this recipe, you've got to have the chopping blade in. Now I'm going to show you how Carey constructs this. And he starts out, and these are on sale right now too. So if you don't have a Piccadilly, you might want to get one. They're just terrific. I hope everybody can see this now. My screen is blocked because of other people that they're near names. But anyway, okay, so here's my little Piccadilly, and I was able to pull it up and get um, all of the pickles out of here that I want to use in my recipe. And then just lower it back down, and down they go. And you just, now nobody's fingers had to touch any of that. So we've got pickles. Now here's the smaller one. And let's do, in this one, let's do some olives. Carey loves salty things. Olives are one of his favorites. So we always make sure that we have olives in the house. So I'm going to put a couple of spoonfuls in. Now, you know what? Again, I know Judy hates this, but it's the truth. Everything is arbitrary. If you're somebody who hates olives, please don't put them in this recipe. This is the way Carey likes to do it. And I have grown to love it. I think it's great too. So we do that. And so we have olives and pickles all ready to go in there. And how about a hard-boiled egg? Well, why not? So we're going to put a hard-boiled egg in there. Sometimes I'll put in a half an apple, but for today's demonstration, this is what we're going to put in. My top on. And you definitely, the things that you want to be in your tuna, you want to cut up first. And I'm going to chop them. I think that's well. They look pretty chopped up there. So that makes it really easy. They're nice and chopped. So now I can add my tuna. Now, the thing with the tuna, now I've already opened it mainly, and I used my can opener. Love this can opener. As you know, it works from the top this way. I can't see. I hope I'm doing this correctly and everybody else can see. So it works this way. You go all the way around the can, and once you hear it click, you know that it is open. And I used the little beak here on the very top side of my can opener, got right here on the edge. Look, voila, off it comes. Now I did this a little bit ahead of time only because I wanted to get all of the juice out of my tuna. Because that isn't great in the recipe. In the recipe you want to have it as dry as you possibly can in order to get all the flavor of the tuna. Now, as you can see too, here's something else we do. We use these large cans because usually when we make tuna, sometimes it's for lunch, but it's nice to have it for more than one day. So put all the tuna in there now. And now that that's in, we have to put in a little bit of mayonnaise. Now, I'm going to say a little bit, but that's not Carey's plan. Carey likes to use a lot of mayonnaise. So tuna's in, it's all the juice has been squeezed out, so it's nice and dry. And now I'm going to put in some mayonnaise. And all of you who know me know that there is no other mayonnaise but Duke's. That is the best. So that's what we use around here is Duke's mayonnaise. And Carey puts a little bit of mustard. Now, he likes more than I do. So for me, I'm going to give it a little squeeze, but he would put in a little bit more. Yeah, but anyway, so since I'm making this recipe, I'm going to take my liberties with it. And again, like I say, this is the way he likes to make it. If you don't like that much of anything, just cut back. Don't put that much in there. Put in what blesses you and your family. So now I'm going to take a little bit of steak and chop. Now, the beauty of what's in steak and chop is there is lemon in here, like a little bit of lemon zest in here, and that really pairs well with your fish. So it's a great one to put in this recipe. Now, it's up to you if you want to use a little bit of salt. If you do, I would say sparingly, because tuna already is a little bit salty. So now I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of the steak and chop in there, and it goes a long way because it's got a lot of peppery things in it. There's no salt in it, but like I said, that nice lemony zesty thing in there is wonderful. Now, when you put the top on and you start this again, it's a little bit harder to pull because the tuna fish, even if you were doing this with chicken or something like that, at first it would be a little harder to pull, and then it gets really easy as it incorporates into the rest of the recipe. So I think I may be done. Yep, there we go. 100% ready to go. And let me put it in my favorite. Should have had this out already. I'm going to put it in a Clearly Elegant, something that we use. I have in every single size in here. Now I'm going to put it in this just so you can see it. It's so much easier to see in the Clearly Elegant than it is to see in the red. So see how nicely that came out. And oh, Carey's going to love this because it has a lot of mayo in it. So we have that. Now I'm going to take my plate, and on my plate, I'm going to use the lettuce that I have in my fridge smart. Now I'll tell you, okay, I washed it, but I spun it dry in my in my yeah, that thing. I did. I spun it dry. So I love having it ready to go. So, and you know, the whole secret too, to know what to put your opening on here is when you can find what you're putting in your container here on the chart and then read the word Tupperware here in the top. Then all you have to do is move your opening or this lever to whatever column you're in. So if it's something that's in this column, then I can look at this chart, read the word Tupperware, then I just move this towards that column, and voila, I have the right opening and the right amount of air going in. So that's a great key to be able to figure it out, so you're not just always wondering, what is it? Where does that opening go? Simple, simple, simple. Thank you, Tupperware, for making it so easy. And now this will last in my refrigerator. I'll get 10 days, maybe longer, out of that lettuce in there. Now, I'm going to use one of our knives. As you know, these are on sale right now. So this one has a serrated edge, which makes it so easy to cut through a tomato. It makes it just very, very simple. And I love the fact that our knives have this great sheath on it. So if you're taking your knife to a picnic or something like that, I know I used to wrap them in my dish towel or something. No need to do that. It goes right in the sheath. Or if you're somebody who doesn't use a knife block, I have a bunch of knife blocks, but for this demonstration, we're just going to talk about this one. But you can, they're great for putting in your drawer, because then the edges don't get nicked or banged or marred, because that's what happens when you put a knife in your drawer without a cover, that it knocks up against other things and it will dull your blade. It causes little nicks, and maybe you don't even see them, but every little microscopic nick on something that you're trying to cut, like especially if it's delicate, like a tomato like this, oh my gosh, those little nicks will decrease the performance of your knife. So having a sheath is a really great idea. Now I'm going to use a little, I thought I had everything out here I needed. Now we're going to put a little piece of tomato right here in this, and a little bit of this. Now, to me, this is the way I like to eat tuna fish salad. To me, I think that is the best way to have tuna fish. And, you know, lots of times Carey will serve it. We'll buy the little Campanelli tomatoes, the ones that are small like this, and he'll slice them up and put them on a cracker, just this big, and then the dollop of tuna fish on top of it. It's really yummy. You can also use this in your micropro grill if you put it between a couple of pieces of bread and butter your bread on the top and the bottom, put it in the micropro grill, and you'll have a tuna melt with a little bit of cheese on the top. So that is tuna salad at the Huddlestons.